Which one of you idiots uses self-tanner?
I do. Why?
Because I thought it was lotion.
What?
And now my junk is orange.
Oh no. That looks like a traffic cone.
It looks like a sad giraffe.
When I was watching this movie, it made me realize that, like in the 80s, you had things like Animal House, Diner, and in the 90s, you had like Swingers and Clerks, but like in this day and age, we don't have a lot of movies about male camaraderie. Was that something that you were thinking about, was like filling that void with this movie?
Absolutely, that was something I really wanted to do. I looked at, I'm a huge Barry Levinson fan, and I love watching Diner, and it felt like these guys were just discussing their lives and leaning on each other for everything, from like romantic advice, but also oftentimes couched in giving each other like a lot of crap, and it can be funny, and it can be heartbreaking, and it can be charming, and those movies sort of ran the gamut of like the emotional spectrum, and I thought that was really cool, and I hadn't seen that in a long time.
I was so not gonna do that. I was gonna make you wait like 40 days.
I was gonna make you wait too, then to realize I'm a dude.
So in the movie, Zach sleeps with you, then leaves you high and dry. Then he says he thought you were a prostitute, and then he deliberately misses your dad's funeral.
Yeah.
If this guy didn't look like Zac Efron, do you think you would actually give him the benefit of the doubt like you do in the movie?
Classic. I think I may be tempted to still give him the benefit of the doubt.
Really?
Even if he didn't look like Zac Efron.
Really?
Yeah.
Like if I missed your dad's funeral and I would
I'd be
you
like,
really
Max, why'd you do that?
You would really you would just let it slide?
It really does depend on the situation, but yeah, I feel like he messed up and he was honest about it, and he looked like Zac Efron, and the whole deal.
There's always like a checklist of like the romantic comedy cliches. What sort of cliches were you trying to very much avoid?
Well, actually, I don't know. I feel like rom-coms now, I think there's certainly a diluted version of what they used to be, and I feel like as much as Tom wasn't trying to mimic the type of rom-coms that used to be made, I think he wanted to kind of resuscitate it and bring something back that maybe had a formula, and that's why we love them so much. Obviously, it's set in the modern day, and there's kind of modern elements like technology, and all of that changes relationships.
If you show them the movie, they go, oh, some of it was predictable, and then, because it's in the romantic comedy genre, and then if you show them the movie and they're like, it didn't do the things that I wanted it to do that are predictable, so it's a sort of no-win situation. So what we tried to do, or I tried to do in this film, is basically subvert a lot of those different cliches, and then at the end of the movie, give, I think, people what they want and are expecting, which is the sort of big emotional fulfillment.
What the?
Hey, it doesn't mean what you think it means.
It doesn't?
Oh, what does our relationship mean to you then?
Wait, you guys are in a relationship?
Speaking of traditions, you just worked with Peter Bogdanovich, who is like, even at the beginning of his career, he was very much a throwback director.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
very inspired by like Lubitsch and John Ford and all those people. What was it like working on his new film with Owen Wilson?
It was extraordinary. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And I think you're right, like his film knowledge, he is like a walking encyclopedia. He knew people like Stella Adler very intimately. When he was like 18, he was around these types of people. And he really taught me, the importance of knowing what came before. And I think he's an example of somebody who felt maybe a little indifferent to his own generation, but in love with the one below and the one above. And he really has introduced me to a ton of movie history, and also has this attitude where he's like, oh, I'm so excited that you haven't seen this film yet, rather than, you haven't seen the film? You call yourself an actor? He's like very much, he's very encouraging of that, and yeah, it was a wild, great time.
Is this the part where we go home? Because I'm not really...
You're sitting on my coat.